Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, where you can be sure to find all of the agriculture news for the Southeast.
There are several must-do items that you must check off your garden to-do list before winter rolls around. First, pull all of your plants out. But before you can do that, you should pull out any plant supports that they may be leaning on. Wipe them clean, then stack them up to be used for next year. Next, rake up all of those fallen leaves. Spread them around the garden, or if they're on the lawn, run them over with the lawnmower. Fall is also the right time to apply mulch. A few more layers may be needed for frost-sensitive plants. Bring the tender plants inside and place them in a warm, sunny spot where they can grow indoors during the winter months. It's also time to dig out bulbs and pull tubers, clean out the tool shed, and take time to clean and store tools. You may also want to think about how you'll protect the plants you do keep outdoors during the frosty months. I'm Kathy Isom, Southeast AgNet.
When it really counts, depend on the source for the latest weather updates, keeping you ahead of the storm. 96.3 FM, 1370 AM, The Source.
Sunshine, it'll be pleasant today, the high 72 to 75. Clear tonight, low 53 to 66. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, partly sunny, pleasant. The high Tuesday, 74 to 78. The high Wednesday, 77 to 80. The high for Thursday, 82 to 86. A shower or thunderstorm on Friday, the high 82 to 85. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Steve Williams.
Just Shipped is expanding to its first retail location at the new Boulevard Market located on the corner of Bonnie Heath and 36th Avenue. Just Shipped will still offer the same all-inclusive services of packing and shipping your items. Don't want to get out of your car? You don't have to, because Just Shipped is offering curbside service. That's right, curbside service starting Saturday, November 7th. Go to justship.net for more information. Take the guesswork out of shipping with Just Shipped.
This is Ocala Talks with Tom Schmitz, bringing stories that are important to our community in and around Ocala. Plus, of course, a splash of sports as well. Now, here's your host, Tom.
Good Monday morning. Welcome to Ocala Talks with Tom Schmitz. I am here on a Monday that is now daylight savings time. So it's really 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock actually. But according to the clocks, it says 8 o'clock. On the phone lines joining us, he does every morning, but he's an hour early this morning or an hour late. I don't know what it is. Galen, you know, and I have to do this because I just saw this printed for the first time. He is the Director of Retention and Recruitment at Life South Community Blood Centers. Galen, good morning.
Hey, what's going on, man? And I love this. I'm a fan of making of daylight savings time. I'm on record as that.
You and nobody else.
Well, you know, the alternative is the kids go to school in the dark. You know, they wait for a bus stop in the dark.
I don't have any
drive to
brats.
work in the dark. Yeah, I know, but people drive to work in the dark.
I got headlights.
Schedule's an absolute mess. Well, you know, kids get killed if in the dark if they're waiting for a bus stop.
Keep the brats home.
No, I do like it. I sleep better.
You know why I don't like it?
Because you know when they move it forward, you know I can't sleep for like a week. You know, because it's so bright outside. It's 9 o'clock, and you're like, man, I got to go to bed, and you can't. So
yeah, I mean, falling back isn't as bad as springing forward. You're entirely correct about that. Springing forward, you lose an hour. People think, oh, it's no big deal. It's a huge deal. Your sleep doesn't get adjusted for quite a while. But the reason I don't like falling back is now it's dark at 5 o'clock. I like to do a full day's work, and then about 4 o'clock, sneak off to the golf course to try to get in an emergency 9. You can't do that now.
But you know, you can now do it in the morning. You've never played golf teed off at 6 a.m.?
Yeah,
that's the best.
I have to be in here at 7 to start a radio program.
Yeah, well, you know, you're weird, and you also get off this radio program at noon.
Yeah, it's too hot in Florida to play golf at noon. Are you kidding me?
In November? Well, wow, global warming has not been good, has it?
No. You know, it'll be 85 degrees today. It won't. The high today is about 78, so
By the way, it's going to be a perfect day to play golf at about 1 o'clock.
100%. But I got too much to do. So,
Boy.
somber weekend. I went to the funeral of Police Chief Greg Graham. It was a somber event. Turnout was quite well turned. If you wanted to get the who's who of Ocala and just get rid of them and start over, that's the place you should have tried Friday.
Yeah, I read the comments about what the mayor said. I thought those were perfect. It was good to see that he was respected not just in our community but by law enforcement people all over the state.
Now,
so that was cool.
You're a little more level-headed than I am, so I'm going to run something by you and tell me whether I'm overreacting or not. Okay?
Okay.
So they did this beautiful funeral. Pastor Mark Cummings did a great job from Church of Hope. His children they spoke, and it was great. And then Mr. Gilligan spoke, the city attorney, and it was great. He did the eulogy, and there was some humor to it. And, you always got to have whoever does the eulogy. I did a eulogy for my best friend in front of about 700 people, and you have to sprinkle in a little humor and all to keep the, you don't want to make it so just a tearjerker the whole time. Mr. Gilligan did a great job doing that, so he kept it good. Like I said, the service was great. After the service, they went out and at the church, just as they probably did at the graveside, they did the whole folding of the flag. They did the 21-gun salute. We had the sheriff's helicopters fly over. Then some planes flew over doing flyovers. It was all great, right? Perfect. I mean, if you wanted to, funerals are never nice, but this was as perfect as you could get, right? And then, as Mark Cummings, and they're still very somber, they're after the flyover, they're about to load the casket and everything, and you hear this incessant buzz. And you look up, and there they are, News 2 and News 6, just hovering. And it aggravated me. I was like, really? That's why nobody likes the media. That's why nobody likes the business I'm in, because of junk like this. And I didn't use the word junk, believe me. And I was told that I may be overreacting a little bit. Am I overreacting a little bit?
Well, no. But, and this has always been the problem with the media.
They had cameras on the ground, by the way. By the way, they had cameras there on the ground. There was no reason to have Sky 6 and Sky 2 up hovering above the funeral.
Well, and I've worked in TV. I worked in TV news, and there's no concern for the people of a story.
None.
The concern is for the story, not for the people involved in the story. And when you're in news, you're taught the story is the most important thing. So, and you're usually, when you're in the news, you're taking people at their very worst day, and you're trying to profit off of it. And that's the fact of the matter. So they could really care less where you were at or what your impact was. They cared about the story. That's the bottom line.
It's like that fly that buzzes around your ear while you're trying to stand at attention or something.
Sure.
That's what it felt like to me. And I was like, everybody, it's a very moving moment, poignant moment, and we have to have the little yellow jackets up above our head that we can hear buzzing.
Yeah, not good. But again, it doesn't surprise me. I mean, and this is why the media is eating itself. Because half of the media is trying to have a conscience of some kind, and then the other half is like, nope, I'm just going to follow my agenda and what I want to do. And what I think is going to further my career, and that's why you're having this massive check, and that's why our country's so divided.
We had this discussion Saturday, me and a couple buddies of mine. And they squarely, and I had to agree with them, I hadn't thought about it. One buddy says, you know whose fault this entire thing is? The way the news media has just taken this volatile turn over the past 40 years and just went in the tank and just, it's like you said, the concerns of the people they affect and all are no longer an issue. It's ratings and how many commercial spots they can sell, and it's all about making money now. It's not about, Walter Cronkite gave you the news. CBS sold the commercials and all. Walter Cronkite.
Walter Cronkite was one of the first left-leaning opinion.
Oh, of course he was. Of course he was. But
so I don't hold him up as a bastion of journalism.
No. But what I'm saying is those guys back then. He had an
agenda and he pushed it.
But those guys back then were a little different than. It's not even about agendas anymore. If the agenda's not making money. My buddy said, you know who's to blame? Ted Turner. And I go, Ted Turner, what's Ted Turner got to do with this? He goes, as soon as news went 24/7, they had to have something on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. This was the inevitable outcome of the 24/7 news cycle.
Sure.
And I'd never thought of that, but that's 100% correct.
News and went to opinion.
Right, because they have to fill 24 hours, 7 days a week.
Absolutely.
And there's not enough news to fill 24 hours, 7 days a week, because there was CBS, NBC, and ABC wouldn't have had the news hour and the Meet the Press hour. They'd have had 24/7. But they didn't have enough news to fill it. So you're right. It's what we now call news is really not news. It's an opinion. We have videotaped or live editorials all the time. That's all we're dealing with now.
That's right. Absolutely right.
It just aggravates me.
And I've told the story on this show before that the way my mom found out that I was going to the Persian Gulf after Saddam invaded Kuwait was on CNN. So, she's watching CNN and they had a stock photo of my ship saying, we're one of the first ships on station. And, of course, back then, it would take 3 months before I got a letter or she heard from me or anything else like that. So, and she never heard another thing about my ship until I wrote her a letter and just saying we were doing circle.
No, it's just gotten to the point. That was the only negative drawback to me about the how great and how well done the celebration of life was done and everything was the fact that we had news helicopters buzzing us while we were outside trying to say our last goodbye, and there's news cameras buzzing.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Hey, we got to take a break. We come back, we'll have more with Galen Unall from Life South right after this.
Locally owned and operated since 1957. We are The Source, 96.3 FM, 1370 AM.
People ask me why I've worked at Palm Garden for so long, and I tell them it's the people. I love to hear the life stories, especially those from the greatest generation. Celebrating life stories is what sets Palm Garden apart, finding out what's important to them. And I love being a resource. Like Macy's Santa, if I can't help, I'll send them to Gimbel's. After all, Palm Garden is located on 34th Street. I'm Jan from Palm Garden. Call me and let's chat. 854-6262.
Hi, this is JP from Penn Flooring here in Ocala. I would like to invite you to come in and visit our spacious showroom where we have solutions for every style and budget. From wall-to-wall carpet to hardwood floors and tiles, we have an unsurpassed selection of flooring. At Penn Flooring, we've provided quality customer service with a family touch for over 25 years. Visit our website at pennflooring.com or come by our showroom, 1201 Southwest 17th Street, just over the bridge. Penn Flooring, quality customer service with a family touch.
Now you did it. Are you completely insane? He's back. He, who must not be named. The man, the myth. The only guy in Ocala to eat his own weight in fried pickles. Twice. Now, you asked for it. Sorta. Live and in person. It's Tom Schmitz.
I am live and in person on a Monday morning, November 2nd, the day before the election day. Right here at 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source, the palatial studios of WOCA Radio, just outside the food court entrance to the Paddock Mall in the Brick City, beautiful Ocala, Florida. I'm on the phone with Galen Unall who is the Director of Retention and Recruitment of Life South Community Blood Centers. You know, now that I got that title, I'm using that too. I'm going to use it, brother. I'm using it.
Sorry, it's my old title, but nobody cares.
I know, nobody cares. I knew that this was not your title. That's why I love doing it.
My old one.
Hey,
no big deal.
So I had a conversation over the weekend. I DJ'd a Halloween party, adult costume party. Fun time, by the way. I went as a blind SEC referee. Not that big of a stretch, you know what I mean?
No, it's
not that big of a stretch.
All referees, by the way, I want to be very clear. All referees are blind.
100%.
I don't hold any referees in high regard.
Look, I got the FHSAA actually called me when I was doing football for WOCA, when Tom James was doing play-by-play and I was doing color. I got a call from the FHSAA. You need to go a little easier on our referees on the radio. Because I let them have it.
Oh, yeah, I got a borderline cease and desist from them, so... Yeah, I'm familiar with what you're saying.
Yeah, I let them have it. So, but I'm at this party.
Well, they deserve it.
Well, they do, 100%. I'm at this party, and the conversation of COVID come up. And I heard something that I thought, I can't disprove or prove it, but I'll ask Galen on Monday, and maybe he can help me. You know, you hear all kind of myths and things about COVID and all. Somebody at this party said, you know, if you got O negative blood or O positive, which one's the universal donor?
O negative.
Yeah, that's the one. He goes, you know, if you're a universal donor like me with O negative, you're immune to COVID.
No, that's not true.
I didn't think it was. But that's just
no. Blood type doesn't have any impact whatsoever on COVID. No.
But that just shows you how many myths and falsehoods and things that people and you know he said that he had seen it in an article on some place and blah, you know, and he was convinced that he was right and he didn't have to worry about COVID because he has O negative. And I thought, that just doesn't sound right to me.
Donor, that's for sure.
Right.
Yeah, he needs to become a blood donor. But yeah, let's make it very clear that blood type has no impact whatsoever on COVID. None.
The fact, though, that there are articles out there that may say that just boggle my mind.
Well, there's a lot of articles that are out there that are just, you're like, okay, there's no science behind this. I read an article on yesterday about cotton masks and their effectiveness. And they said they were effective because they blocked over half of the particles that pass through a cotton mask. And I'm like, that doesn't mean anything. You know what I mean? 50% is not good unless you're a baseball player.
In baseball, you'd be a multimillionaire. Right.
But again, I'm always amazed at the stupidity of some people. But what are you going to do?
So here is something yesterday that got me. So we take a day trip. My girlfriend Susan and I take a day trip to Orlando, and we went down there to look at because she owns Just Shipped, and they're about to open in the Boulevard Market, you know, here in town. So she wanted to go see an actual indoor type marketplace like Boulevard Market's going to be, and so we went to Orlando to see one. And by the way, this is a great concept in Orlando. Somebody took an old storage unit property and turned it into an indoor flea market because it was all climate-controlled storage units. And so imagine that. There's 8 buildings that are just storage units, 10 by 10 storage units that have been turned into flea market like stalls. It's a fantastic idea. But if you like flea markets, which I do. So we go there, and then we go to a couple places that, you know, on I-Drive and all. By the way, I-Drive was a ghost town. Here it was, 3:30 in the afternoon on a Sunday. There was no traffic.
Weekend?
This week, yeah, yesterday. There was no traffic on I-Drive whatsoever. It was fantastic.
Huh.
So we go to a couple places and everything, and the rule at all the places, when you come up, you have to have your mask on as you enter the building. And then once you sit, you can take your mask off. And then I was like, yeah, but I got to put it on the go. No. Once they sit you at the table, you can just leave your mask off. Free run in the restaurant and everything. No big deal to keep your mask on. And I'm thinking, so basically, we just have to put our mask on to come off the sidewalk and go to a table. How is that helping?
Well, that's the whole thing, right, is the inconsistency of it. I was at a basketball tournament this weekend down in Orlando.
At Wild World of Sports?
There's probably – no, it was another complex.
Okay.
And they take your COVID test inside, but the players don't wear masks. I mean, they're all kids, right? There's no risk whatsoever for these kids. I'm just amazed at and I've said this from the beginning on this show. You're in two camps. You think that COVID is going to kill us all, or you think it's no big deal. And I really don't think there's anybody who feels any different or one way or the other. I think you're in one of those two camps. Nobody is in the middle because you can't be. You can't be, because if you think it's going to kill us, then you have to hunker down. You have to wear all your PPE. You have to avoid everyone. Right? You're not going out to lunch. You're not going to dinner. You're not doing any of these functions. And then if you don't think it's that big a deal, then you're like, look, I'm going to wear a mask because you're making me wear a mask. But I really don't think it makes any impact whatsoever.
I have a mask in my car. I wear a mask everywhere it's required to wear a mask. Only because they require me to wear a mask.
Right. I mean, you don't want to be that guy and just like, okay, look, if you want me to put this mask on, I'll put this mask on. I just want to get through my day. And that's where we're at. You're either you think this virus is going to kill us all and that there is no cure and that there's no hope for us, it's just going to kill us, or you believe the science that says, well, the death rate is 0.008%. For a person of my age, and the average person who dies is 83. I'll take 83.
If I knew I was going to live this long, I'd have partied harder in my 20s and died. I'll be promised.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. I mean, you're close to dead.
Right.
I mean,
100%.
So am I. I mean, we're all pretty close to dead.
Well, that's the thing. That's what I get to people who go, you don't understand. You could die. I go, you don't understand. When the doctor slapped you on your rear end and you took your first breath, guess what you started doing? Dying.
Yeah.
Okay? Nobody's
I'm on
immortal.
The back nine.
Yeah. 100%.
I'm on the
I got about
back
4
nine.
holes left.
I get 18 in or not.
Yeah, I got about 4 holes left, and I don't know what hole I'm on the back nine. You know what I mean? Here's what
I can't live my life in fear.
But I don't wear the mask for the reasons you say. I don't wear the mask because, hey, I don't want to be that guy. I wear my mask so other people can live. And let me explain what I mean. I don't wear my mask so other people can live so I don't give them the virus. I wear my mask so that somebody doesn't walk up and say, hey, jackass, you don't have a mask on, and get screaming in my face, and then I kill them. Okay.
So,
I wear a mask.
Same reasoning, different result.
I wear my mask so that people don't die or they don't get bodily harm inflicted upon them because they're screaming in my face that I need to put a mask on.
It's unbelievable.
And anybody that knows me knows that that's 100% accurate. I wear my mask just so some dilettante doesn't come screaming at me and then I have to crush them because that's my first reaction.
Yeah,
who you screaming at? And then you know what I mean. So it's just easier.
Yeah.
My mom always said, just pick your battles, and this is one of those battles that I choose not to fight because it's just easier to go along to get along. Not for my safety, but for the safety and well-being of all those around me. And I'm not talking about from getting COVID. I'm talking about from getting a broken arm, getting your head beat in, something like that when you aggravate me.
That's awesome. That is so true.
And if you know Tom Schmitz, it's 100% true. I ever tell you the story about the guy? I got about a minute. The guy who didn't want me to play through on the golf course. So I'm on number 11 at Muni. You know where I'm talking about, the par 3. We drive up. The guy goes, ain't nobody blanking and playing through. I go, whoa, tough guy. I just drove up. Relax. So we're playing 13. They move out of the fairway. So the universal sign of play through is when the two guys in the fairway move their golf carts to the side, right? So I hit the ball. As I hit the ball, he comes back out of the woods, and the ball lands about 30 yards in front of him. So he throws up the middle finger salute. I said, okay, I'd hit into him. That's my fault. So I get up by the green, and I do what you're supposed to do with golf etiquette. Hey, buddy, sorry, I thought y'all were in the woods. You would let me play through. I see that wasn't the issue now. I apologize. Okay, so they go to number 14. There's 4 of them. There's me and my buddy. So I look at my buddy and go, hey, you just want to skip around 14 and go play 15? Sure, we'll do that. So we do that. As I'm in my backswing on 15, the guy that's giving me all the trouble screams a bunch of explicitives about he didn't give me permission to go around. So I said, pal, what's your problem? Well, he comes off the 14 green. He's about $160. He comes off the 14 green, and he chest bumps me on the 15 tee box. You're my blankety-blank problem. And I go, dude, get off me. He chest bumped me the second time. He was asleep before he hit the ground. Somebody goes, did you have to knock him out? I go, dude, he chest bumped me twice. What do you want me to do? I think we lost Galen. We may have, he went through that Gainesville area. I don't know, he probably didn't even hear my whole story. I missed out on the whole story. Galen, call back if you got a chance. We got about 30 seconds. But yeah, so I wear my mask, not out of this great regard for, I don't want to spread COVID. I wear my mask so that mask Nazis don't come get in my face and have to be dealt with appropriately. Or inappropriately, depending on how you look at it. I know that sometimes my reactions to people are deemed inappropriate by the most of the general public. But, it's not deemed inappropriate by me, and that's all that matters. I don't know where the blood bank is today. I wish I did. I wish Galen we hadn't lost him. I didn't realize we lost him. We'll be back after this timeout, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
USA Radio News with Lance Pry.
With 5 campaign stops for President Trump Monday and Joe Biden scheduled for 2, can Black Americans be the deciding factor in election 2020?
1 in 100 Black Americans, 1 in 1,000 Black Americans have died from COVID-19. That is a mass casualty event in the black community.
Pastor Darrell Scott, co-chair of Blacks for Trump, tells Fox News of Trump's accomplishments for Black Americans.
In 2016, Donald Trump underpromised and overperformed from then until now with so many pieces of legislation, so many initiatives favorable towards the black community, whereas in Joe's 47 years of public service, he has a record of antagonism and hostility and negative statements regarding the black community, and the black community is aware of that.
You're listening to USA Radio News.
Attention business owners body slammed by overwhelming debt. If your business is in trouble, hassled by creditors, if you're frustrated, finally fed up with big business bailouts while your business has